Hello, everyone. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Tell me when we're getting back into this. It's been a couple weeks and I'm so excited to see all of you again. So make sure that you let me know if volume's good, if you're having any trouble. I'm so glad to see some crafty friends in the chat. Today, I'm going to say, have you ever wished that you could get more from the stamps that you already own? Today I'm going to show you two different ways to use one stamp set. We'll be using the Winter Wonderland from Altenew. We're going to have an exclusive coupon. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek. Don't worry, I'm going to show you a little bit more. And we're pretty much stamping these kind of opposite. One, we're going to use some ink blending on the stamping, and the other one we're going to do something completely different that kind of gives you the opposite look. So I'm really excited to be here with you today, and I love just seeing you pop in the chat. I hope everybody's had a good couple of weeks. I had a couple weeks off of live stream, so I'm glad that so far, knock on wood, tech seems to be working. So let me flip it to the overhead and make sure. So we're going to be using, let me show you this stamp set. If you have seen this, this is from the new release at Altenew, and it does have two different options, but I'm going to show you some ways to use it. It's a really interesting set, and it has lots of fun options with it. If you know me, you know I love a good background stamp. I love background stamps, and I love using them in interesting ways. So we're going to play with that today. We're going to make some holiday cards. These, of course, could be adapted as just Winter Wonderland type cards. Doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas, but it does cut out a Christmas tree. It has a die that goes with it that cuts this out. So you've got options here if you've got this stamp set. If not, think about some of your other background sets. You could do this with any of your background sets, and we're gonna have lots of fun. Okay, so let me show you the cards that we're making. Let me flip my camera here. Y'all just bear with me. Pop myself in the corner right there. Thanks, Frida. Thanks, Sue. I appreciate it. I'm so excited to see all of you back. Feel free to tell me in the chat what you've been doing in the last couple weeks. Do you have any cool vacations, anything like that? These are the two cards that we're going to make. And I'm going to say these cards came from inspiration with this wonderful set. This is the Winter Wonderland set, but they also came, hold on. Okay, they also came, loves to do that to me. They also came from a little bit of wanting to use some of my sequins that I haven't used yet. And so we're gonna be playing with some different colored sequins, and we're gonna create both of these cards. Believe it or not, they're kind of opposite in how they work. So we will play with that a lot. It's so good to see you, Polly and Tina. I do have a giveaway today, okay? And I'm having so much trouble getting people to claim their giveaways. So make sure today, during the live, I'm gonna give away this press plate. It's cheers, let's celebrate, congrats, you did it. And it has the matching die. So just stay tuned. I'll tell you throughout the live stream what that is. And then my replay giveaway is gonna be this set of butterfly dies. You may have seen that recently on a reel as well. So there you go. Oh, I love that all of y'all are making so many cards to send to people. That's awesome. Somebody said they were making 300 cards. Awesome. So I love hearing it. So who wants to, did y'all see on my social media? First of all, you got to look at these amazing nails. Did you see on my social media where I was? I went quite a few places and I put a few little hints on social media. Okay. I'm seeing what everybody's doing. Went to the Smoky Mountains, I think I saw. Yeah, Smoky Southern Virginia. Oh, yeah, I hope not many of y'all are having to worry about the smoke right now. Okay, so with this stamp set, we're gonna start with our large one, which this is the background. And I don't know if you can see all of this stuff, but it's got just all kinds of like folk Christmassy type designs or holidays. I think you could do whatever you want to. It is a really, really fun one. And then you can also just stamp the tree. So I've got both options that we're gonna do today. Let me grab my stamp wheel. We're gonna be looking at a couple new products, and I wanted to show you one other card that I have for the release. Originally, I had planned to do this one live stream. This is the Gerber daisies. I can't say it. And it's a really fun card. Check that out on social media with a little bit of sparkle. It's got a tufted elegance back there, but this one is sold out. So we are going to do the Winter Wonderland because I had another really cool, I love those cards even more. So we are going to do this today. We're going to start with this card. And we're going to grab our stamp wheel and look at how we can get all these different colors on our ink blending. So now this is going to be ink blending on a stamp. Have y'all done that before? Have y'all done ink blending on a stamp before? I'm looking for my little pieces of paper here. I needed to grab one more of my Bristol Smooth paper to create this. And I'm looking really quick. Sorry. Let me answer some questions. Yes. Oh no, so many wildfires. So we're going to carefully peel this off. We're going to be using this stamp. Now, I've already primed mine, but if you've got a large background stamp like this, you definitely need to kind of wipe off whatever extra little, it's almost like it has an extra little thing of plastic on it. And so you want to make sure that you are doing getting your stamp ready, especially with this many details. It will take a little bit to do that. I'm sorry, I'm grabbing down one piece. I need one of my Bristol Smooth pieces, and I am looking, we may have to cut that really quick. Yeah, I for some reason didn't grab that. If I've got it over here. So what I mean by Bristol Smooth is we want to be able to get a nice white, and we want to be able to do some ink blending. So thanks, Rachel. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of this. Really doesn't actually matter how big it is because you can use the back of it for more. So I'm going to cut it bigger than the size of the stamp, and then we will trim things down as needed. So let me get this one ripped out of here. Okay, and we'll do a little trim. So that we can fit it in our stamp wheel. So I want it to be about, sorry, is all that in camera? I want it to be about, let's see how many inches that needs to be. I'm gonna move our stamp wheel. Can only fit so much in this little area where it is, sorry, trying to see if that paused. Okay. I'm sorry, tech complications. So I only want to be able to just cut, we're going to cut this down. So I'm going to look at my stamp. Well, this stamp is about, let's see how big it is. It is about 4.25. So I'm going to give myself just a little bit of extra room here. And we'll cut this. And that's just so it fits better in my stamp wheel. I'm going to cut just a little bit off, just so it fits there a little bit. We might use this later anyway. We're going to use all these pieces. So if you haven't known it yet, we do have an exclusive coupon today. We have an exclusive coupon from Altenew that we're going to be using. It's going to be an awesome one. I don't know if Rachel's popped it up in there yet, but she'll be popping that in. And we'll start working on this stamp. Make sure I've got that where you can see it. So for this one, I'm not worrying about anything, just putting my stamp down, and we're gonna do some ink blending on the actual stamp. So I don't really need to prep the paper, just have a good ink blending paper. We'll grab our stamp. So this trimmer is not my favorite. It's a quick trimmer that I have behind me, but it's not my normal trimmer. So just FYI, sometimes I grab a little trimmer like that. That one's called the Works trimmer, but I wouldn't say that that is my favorite. It's just a quick for convenience because it's behind me. So I don't put it on the supply list or anything because it's not my super duper recommendation. So I'm going to line this up. You can kind of see what I've done here because your stamp, when you're using some red colors, is definitely going to get a little bit of that hint there. So I know that Rachel's throwing in. Today, it's 50% off the Crafters scoreboard. If you've never seen Altenew's scoreboard, it is so good. I love it so much. And it's one of those things where I am using it all the time. I actually brought it out. But particularly for this card, we're not going to use it. So I just wanted to show it to you. This is my absolute favorite scoreboard. I don't know if it scores deeper than others. I feel like it does. Maybe that's just me, but it is my favorite, and it's on sale for 50% off only for about 24 hours, that code. Okay, so we're going to use some fun pink colors. Man, it's going to take me a minute to get back into this, guys. I'm dropping stuff. Yeah, I got to say, I've had like a couple weeks off of crafting. I've just been doing social media, so just bear with me a little bit here. Sometimes I am a little clumsy. So I'm going to get out a light ink brush, and I'm going to get out kind of a medium ink brush. I may use this one as well. This works and covers a lot more area, so I'm going to get out both of those to have. With the lightest color, you don't have to do as much ink blending, so it's one of those where you can do it if you want, but I think it generally works out a little bit better to, sorry, let me move that out of the way, for the first one to mostly stamp. But what I don't like, and the reason that I use these ink blending brushes, is I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but sometimes when you stamp, your ink pools up and makes little dots on your stamp. So it's one of those things where it just makes it look smoother when you stamp. So, okay, so I'm going to start with Frosty Pink. That's our super light color. Then we're going to use Coral Berry and Ruby Red. And we're going to create an ombre look. But we're going to do it maybe a little different than you've tried before. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Sorry, I'm a little bit crazy. Okay. And Rachel's actually going to do a giveaway as well today, so we're going to try to figure out, we got lots of giveaways. We got some fun stuff happening. And if it's been a while and you've been missing lives, stay tuned. I'm live on Tuesday this week, and I think I'm live, yeah, I'm live for a live event on Friday. So I've got 2 more lives coming up next week, so just stay tuned. Now, it doesn't look like I've done anything with that Frosty Pink because it is so light. Okay, it is so light, but I'm doing about 1/3 of this. Okay, so I'm just making sure I get some ink down on about 1/3, and we will need to do this a couple times because it is a very light color. So I'm going to start without doing any ink blending and just see what it's looking like. Okay, and then I'll come in and make it smoother. So let's go ahead, set that stamp down. So you can see, it gets a little bit, you see how when you don't, I'm going to kind of use this one as our example, when you don't ink blend, you see how you can get those little dots like that? That's why I'm doing this. It's because I like it to look a little smoother, and those will probably dry out, trust me, but I like to add that little smoothness to it. So this time we're going to stamp it, and we're going to add all that ink, and we're going to use our brush just to soften it. So I'm using a very light brush, and I'm going to try not to take, sometimes I even do this. Sometimes I'll go ahead and put a little bit ink on this brush. I'm mainly using this to make sure that I don't take off too much, but at the same time not have any of those big marks and those little extra places of ink. So I'm just kind of doing this. This also helps as we make our ombre blend. So let's see how we did here. Like I said, with the light pink, we're going to have to do it a couple times. Hello from Pennsylvania and Ohio. So glad to see you. Can you see how that's looking? Now, right along here, we're going to have a mixture of our colors. So I'm only going to do right along that area with a little bit of ink blending, and that's just so those can blend. So Arlene said, are you in the faith journaling workshop this year? And no, I do not actually know what that is, but I'm not in that one this year. I have my next big class thing is coming up. I have something in September where I think I'm going to have a kit and a class. And then I have something coming up in October as well. That'll be an option for free class. Okay, so here we go. So I've done a little bit of blending right there just to make that softer. And it may be hard for you to see on camera. So we're going to stamp right there. Okay, that's just so that we can have some blend of these two colors. Oh no, Polly said her stamp wheel went missing. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, so tell me, tell me what the weather's like where you are. I know it's been crazy across the U.S. right now, and I'm sure in other countries too. Right now in Tennessee, it is so hot and stormy. So if we get a big storm and it affects internet, just bear with me. Next color is going to be Coral Berry, and I'm going to lay this color down and then make sure before I stamp it, I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm sorry. It'll just occasionally say, hey, Nikki, let me just put you full screen. I'm not really sure what it's doing that for. Okay, so just bear with me there. So anyway, the Coral Berry, one of my favorite colors from Altenew, okay? One of my favorite colors. So I love this color, but it is a darker pink, okay? You'll see how dark it is? So it's going to be a darker color, and I'm going to go ahead and start laying it down, and even a little bit up to where it fills up our line where we're going to try to kind of blend it in. Okay, so about a third. All right, I am going to use this bigger brush to take a little bit off, and so I'm just going to tap. Okay, I'm going to tap a little bit through the middle just so I don't get any of those big marks. So just kind of tapping along the middle. And then at the edges, I'm going to do just a little bit of blending. So I'm kind of softening that color. Do you see how I'm doing that? Where I'm softening where it would go in with the others to make it look like a line of softs. I'm going to do that along this line too. And it's just to help those colors mix a little bit. So let's go ahead and put down our first level. If you see any spots or anything that you think has too much, you can always dab it off. Okay, so we'll get this one going. We'll do it a couple times. So here we go. So when you start stamping and you're ink blending, you're gonna have some areas that don't get it, and that's okay. No worries. I do see a little piece of lint on there that I need to get off. Okay, and a little spot on my, okay. All right, sometimes I get lint or hair on there, so just fixing that. So I'm gonna go back in, still do the same thing, and then we're gonna blend it again. And that's just to make sure we got all our areas. The other thing about going in and just stamping on this is you can make some really harsh lines with this, and so sometimes doing the little bit of blending with the brush can make a difference. So just FYI, I'm gonna take this and we're gonna go through the middle just to make sure that it looks okay. Just dab off any of that excess ink that makes little globs or whatever on there. And then remember, we're blending this part. So I'm taking it and blending it. And you could blend the whole thing, but you're going to, one, it's going to take a decent amount of energy, and two, it is going to take a lot of times if you want a dark stamp. So because you're taking the ink off when you do that. Okay, let's see how we did here. I love how this looks ombre. So the size of the big brush that I'm using, this is an Altenew. I think they call it a mini brush. Altenew mini brush. This is a great one to cover lots of area, and it's just a soft, larger spot so that I can kind of dab through the middle quicker than I can with something like this. So you see how I'm just maximizing my size so that I got it? Okay, so that's our Coral Berry. Let's see how we're looking. I might do it one more time. Yeah, this little guy is looking, I need to get that one better. I don't think I'm pressing hard enough there. Okay, that looks better. So you see how we're fading in? And if you want that fade to go a little bit higher, let's just do a little bit more. So here we go. We're gonna just do a little bit more ink blending, and that's how I kind of fill in the area. So for this one, I'm gonna add some ink, and then I'm gonna kind of blend it up. So I'm gonna take it and just blend it up to where I want that line to be. I know that it's around those deer, so I'm kind of taking a little ink there, taking a little ink down, And I'm just using the big brush this time just to make sure we got a little bit of variance there. Okay. Now let's see how that does. Okay. Ooh, that looks good. I love it. Yay! Oh, the mini. Okay, so do you know what size brush this is then, Rachel? What do they call that? Small blending brush, maybe, instead of mini? Because this is probably mini. So just let me know what it's called. Okay, so tell me, how many of you have tried this on a card? Have y'all done this technique previously? Now, when you come in with your bright red, you're really gonna have to do a little bit of blending. So we're using ruby red, okay? And I'm gonna use that same brush to make sure I don't get it too crazy. So we'll do a little bit of this, just kind of dabbing it off. And see how I've got that harsh line? I'm going to blend that out. We're just kind of blend it up and blend it out, okay? Let's see how we do here. I might need to go a little bit higher on that line. Nope, that actually looks good, I think. Okay, yeah, it's definitely worth trying. I have lots of ways to use background stamps that are just so fun. So you can tell that this line right here needs a little bit more color and definition. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more ink along the tops of those reindeer. And we're gonna add, I'll add a little bit more to the bottom too. If you wanted to come in with a fourth color, you could. I just thought that where we're gonna cut this out, this will be perfect. So this is gonna be the background for our shaker card. Okay, so let me blend this out. I love all that noise. I love all those noises. So tell me what your favorite color combo is for your holiday Christmas cards. Are you a red-green person, or do you like to experiment? Because we're going to do kind of both in this one. Okay. So tell me what your favorite is. Okay, I still feel like I need just a smidge of detail right there by those. Oh, I see. I don't think I'm pressing hard enough. Let me press really good right there. Okay. That's better. There's still kind of a line right here. I'm going to actually do some coral berry and blend it in that line. So I'm going to add a little coral berry. We're going to blend it together. We'll take this. We're just going to kind of blend it. Yeah, background stamps are one of those things that sometimes I just put in my drawer and forget about them, and I really should not do that because they can be used in so many different ways. Even if you don't have a die for it, you can just use it in all kinds of ways. You can use a shape die and cut it out. That would be amazing. Ooh, that's looking good. Okay, so I see a lot of reds and greens. Ooh, I like that cream, green, brown, pop of red. I bet that looks beautiful. Having a cream. Oh. Do we need any more right here? I feel like we've got a good line that's looking good. So I'm gonna wipe off this stamp. It's still gonna have a little bit of red staining because that's what happens with these kinds of stamps. I'm gonna use a little wet wipe, clean that off, just so that it's fast and easy. Okay. Red is one of those things you gotta pay attention to. So I'm gonna put this stamp back because on the next one, we're gonna do something a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here. If you're wondering what stamp set we're using, it's called Winter Wonderland, and it's one of the new ones from Altenew. So super fun stamp. Lots of cool little things. I love, it has like these reindeer mittens. It's got little houses. It's just so cute. Thanks so much. And yes, there's definitely live and replay giveaways. I would like for y'all to make sure that if you're going for the live replay or the live win, make sure that you're on my email list. because it's so hard to get a hold of you. If you are just on YouTube, you don't see the thing. And so it's very hard for me to get a hold of the winners if I don't have your email. So make sure that I have your email by being on my newsletter list. Okay, that's also a way that if I ever lost my YouTube channel, which has happened to multiple people where it gets hacked or something like that, I can at least contact you and tell you where I'm going to be and what the plan is. So it's always a good, helpful thing to do. So look, oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. What do y'all think? So when I saw this, I was like, I have not used my pink sequins like I need to. And I thought, oh, they might not quite match, but look at how good these look on here. But just always check. That little subtle pink is everything, isn't it? It's so fun. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, so Rachel's saying we're also going to do a $25 gift card. That's actually from Rachel through the giveaway. Did you already give that away, Rachel? Or do I need to say this? I think we got a question for Rachel's. So just tell me, Rachel, if I need to do that giveaway or not. We'll give it a second. Okay. How many of you already have the Altenew scoreboard? And I saw a couple questions about that, so I'm going to pick it up and show it to you again because I want to make sure that you know what it is. This is what the coupon is for, okay? It's got a little tray that pulls out. Let's see if I can get it pulled out. And it's got a score thing in there. I tend to use, I really like that one, but I like this one the best. They also sell, it's this big one because it's got that flat end, so it helps you like fold the paper down, but it is such a nice one. If you don't have a scoreboard and you're wanting to do something like fun folds, anything like that, this is a great one to get. Highly recommend. It's one of my top things. I threw away my Score Pal because I like this one better. I didn't actually throw it away. I gave it away to one of y'all. I better clarify that. All right, so let's look at what we need to do next. We need to cut out a couple things. So we're gonna kind of do both cards at once, and we need a front for this card. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and use the die and cut us out a tree, and we'll also have the negative of the tree, okay? And then we're gonna ink blend them separately. So here's our die cut for this. And I want you to notice a couple of things. This cute thing could be used for so many things. So it could be used just as its shape. I mean, you could just ink blend this shape and not use your stamp. You could ink blend it with stencils. It's so great, okay? So I'm gonna cut this out. Let's grab our die cutting stuff and we're gonna cut it out, and then we're gonna use this for the two separate cards. I also want to show you something about this stamp that I discovered when I was first making it. I did not realize, but this also gives you some more ways to use this background stamp, that when you're cutting out the tree, if you just cut the center of your big stamped panel, it's also going to cut out a tree. See how it's got that little gift at the bottom, and it's got the star right in the middle? So you could cut this panel out, just use the tree, and have this as a background and then opening in a shaker like we're gonna do today. So you've got lots of options that just give you a lot to do here. So a lot of like ways to change it around and make some fun things. Yeah, the tree shape is awesome. I love all the detail, and it looks great with that stamp, but it looks great alone as well. So I'm making sure that I get this pretty even because we're gonna use this one as our background. The other thing that Altenew came out with on this release that I'm gonna show you, if y'all haven't seen it yet, did you see they came out with foam strips? I'm gonna show you why you might wanna have some foam strips in your stash, because making shaker cards, I'm gonna show you, especially with a shape like this makes it so much easier. So this is a new thing from their release. So if you're putting things in your cart, that's a great one to do. Make sure you use my affiliate link. I appreciate that. But I'll show you how those work in just a second. Let's get this taped down. So I've got a little spare piece of tape over here that I can use. And I'm just trying to make sure I've got it generally center so that our panel looks good, because we're going to use the reverse of that panel too. And I don't know why, but my little bit of, let's just go right here. No, it's going to make a move. I'm going to try to do it with just the magnet instead of putting it down, because I'm afraid I'm going to make a little indentation from the tape, and I need this panel. So I'm just going to be real careful sending it through the die cutting machine. Yeah, foam strips are so nice. Yeah, it could be a cool shape card. You're right, Kathy. This could make its own card. Oh, we could play with that. If we have lots of extra time, we'll play with that too. If we have any extra time, I will consider just making a card on the fly like that. Okay, so here we go. So this gives us this beautiful tree. It also gives us the negative space, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're going to use that negative space on our shaker card. So we're gonna create a window out of this, and then we're also gonna use this one on our cute little pink card. So we've got some embossing folders coming up, so stay tuned. Okay, and so Rachel's ready to do her giveaway. She is being very generous and giving away a $25 gift card for the live stream. So while I am working on getting these things and my sticky mat and all the stuff that we need to do for that, here's the question that you need to answer to be entered in the $25 gift card. If you are not on my email list, I cannot get in contact with you over this, so make sure you're on my email list. So the question for Rachel's giveaway is, did you this year do a staycation or did you go on vacation? So tell me which one is your top, or if you just prefer one or the other, let me know. But put staycation or vacation in the comments and Rachel will pick a winner. So nice of Rachel. Thank you for doing that, Rachel. We really appreciate all of that. Okay, before we complete this, let me show you how we're gonna stamp, because we're gonna do a little bit of kind of the reverse of the stamping while y'all are all answering. Okay, I see a lot of staycations, some vacations, both, all kinds. So yeah, throw your answers in there. Nancy is joining us and she's not able to do a whole lot of typing. So hey, Nancy, if you want to be entered in that, make sure you also do a quick little type of staycation or vacation. Okay. I can see that one of them auto-corrected to notation. We'll go with that's vacation. All right. So here's what we're going to do with this one. And I'm going to go ahead and do it because we need to do some green ink blending. So with this one, I'm going to do white heat embossing. And I had a couple ideas that I think y'all have got to try. I know we won't have time to try them here. But I think this tree in white or glittery heat embossing could be on a white or gray background and look amazing. Okay, let me show you how good it looks with white. And I know it's hard to see white heat embossing, but you'll see it come to life when we put some ink over it. So before you heat emboss anything, always use an anti-static powder tool. Okay, so you're going to use an anti-static powder tool. I'm doing this on top, so this is not on my sticky mat. This is on the wheel of the stamp wheel, and it's a good thing for it to do. So you can go all around, put your anti-static powder on it, and that just helps it get a good crisp stamp. And then you want to carefully pick that up. Notice I'm going to pick it up from the edges, put it right here, and try to press it down without doing too much. Try to do it with something like this so I don't have hand oils on it. Okay, let's see if we can get it to stay. Sometimes you need to do just a smidge of tape, which I'm going to do real quick. So teeny. Just enough where it'll be on that little outline of. And that's just because sometimes when you're stamping, you can pull that piece off. So I'm going to wipe this extra powder off my front. Always vacation is what she says. I see that. Okay, so this time we're going to use our tree. Okay. And like I said, I could use this whole thing and just stamp over it and stamp it in the tree form, but it is kind of nice, especially when you're trying to hold on to your piece, to have a little bit smaller stamp. So even though this stamp could still pull this piece of paper up when I stamp it, hopefully your sticky mat will hold it, and also you're gonna have less surface area pulling on it than if you try to stamp it with this. So if you've already got that die cut done, then you definitely want to use the smaller, plus it comes with the pack. So why not use it to its fullest? So for this one, we're gonna line it up and we're gonna stamp in clear embossing ink. So sorry if you see the top of my head here. It's a little hard to line up unless I can see it from all sides. Get it kind of even. I feel like that little top part is going to be in the way there. Sorry if y'all get to see the side of my face. Okay, so I'm just looking all around, making sure I got it lined up, which it looks like it does. And then I'm going to pick up this stamp. Whoop, and I picked it up. So here's what I'm going to do, because it's wanting to stick to it. I'm going to, can't get it to stick to your sticky mat, I'm going to add a little bit of water to my sticky mat, because sometimes that helps. Just a little bit of fluid. Let's see here. Might have gotten some lint or something on it that's not holding it down. But you can also do something like add a little piece of tape to help it stick. Sometimes I do that. Okay, let's see here. See if that stays. Nope. There we go. It looked like Rita was the winner. Is that right? Rita won. Yay! Is it Rita Schroeder? Yeah. Rita, make sure you're on my email list, and hopefully I can find you on there and email you, but you can also just reply to one of my newsletters and I'll get your email. I'll need your information so that we can get that to you. Okay. And that should, I think that'll be, let's see if we can get it this time. Okay, now we got it. Sorry, takes a second, but that's what I'm working through with you guys. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't done it. Yes, hit the thumbs up. We got like 70 people here, and we need to do that. So I'm going to be using Opaque Bright White from Wow. It's a really bright white embossing powder. And I'm going to use their embossing pad just to get a lot of ink down. You could use the Versamark pad. Either one is fine. This one is very juicy, so usually it only requires one stamp. Have y'all started your Christmas cards yet? Have you started getting them ready? Tell me yes or no. Christmas holiday cards, have you started on them? Okay. I'm going to carefully. Okay, I know that's hard for you to see if I got it covered, but I'm going to show you in the light, kind of. See how we did. Sometimes it's hard to see until you're actually putting on the embossing. Sometimes I wish it had like a tint to it that would go away, just so you could see, but we got that, I believe, pretty good, and I'm going to go ahead. I'll stamp it one more time to be on the safe side. How about that? Because it is hard to see. Let's do Versamark this time. Sometimes I mix up my inks too, just to make sure I got all the details covered. So some people have started Christmas cards, some haven't. I'm doing a decent amount of Christmas in July this year. So if you want to get them started, because here's my problem with the cards, is that the fall always gets so busy. So by fall, if you haven't started on them, it's hard to make that time to get them done. And I don't like to be stressed around the holidays. So I'm working on mine now. So the other thing that I'm going to do with this panel, and I know you can't see where that stamping is, I'm sorry, but you will see it in just a second. All will become clear, is I like to roll up a piece of tape. Okay, I'm gonna roll up a little piece of tape. I'm gonna put my tweezers through it, and I'm gonna hold my panel. Okay, that way, let's see if I can get it to stick to my panel. Okay, yes, I touched the middle. Oops, hopefully I didn't take too much off. Okay, now we're gonna pour some embossing powder. Yeah. Oh, somebody started their Christmas in June. Yeah, it's got some good ones for winter and Christmas type card making. Okay, so can you see it coming to life now? Can you see that pattern? Is that gorgeous or what? I know it's gonna be hard to see, and I'm going to tap it off, whoops, as I drop my piece. I don't think I had a sticky enough piece of paper, but look at that. You can just see how fluffy it looks. So I think that I'm going to try this soon in a white, as a white glittery panel, and then I'm going to do like a light gray background. I think that would look really cool. Or you could do the light glittery, like your tree could be light gray. I think that could make a really cool monochrome card. Somebody tag me if you try that out, because I think it could look pretty cool. Next, we're going to have to do our thing, so it's going to make my microphone a little bit weird. Yeah, Arlene, I agree. September, October just get crazy. It's when a lot of classes happen, and I just got a lot of content I'm working on. So if I don't get started on these Christmas cards early, then I'm in trouble. So I'm just gonna hold this, make sure my thing is hot, make sure it's hot. Mine kind of glows when it's hot. And we're gonna make this show up better, don't worry. Once we get it nice and heated up, we are going to do some ink blending over it. So, like Kathy was saying, you could even use that dye to create some shaped cards. Try not to warp it too much. It'll get a little warped, but that's what we got foam tape for, don't worry. Okay. And I always double check the edges, because that's where I tend to miss my embossing, is right along the edges. So go along your edges. Okay, make sure you got it. I always miss the reindeer faces. So I'm just holding this at different angles, make sure that it's all shiny. If there's any spot that I miss, then I'm going back and adding it. Okay? All right, so that is nice and done. Now let's play with some ink blending. So the reason that I went on and did this one is because we're going to use the same color green for this tree as we are the negative piece for here. So let's go ahead and set that down. We're going to use it for this negative piece. So I'm going to ink blend them at the same time. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, so definitely watch the replay. There will be a giveaway there as well. We've got an exclusive coupon today, and I would love for y'all to take advantage of that. And if you're just doing any shopping at Altenew today, make sure you use my affiliate link. That really helps me out, helps me to keep doing these lives, helps me just support my little crafty business. Okay, so here are the greens we're going to use. You can pick any colors you want. These are really nice. The green Grassfield, Shadow Creek, and Mountain Pine look really nice on this, and they match those reds really well. You know how some greens just don't look right with the particular red? but I think these look great with it. So that's why I picked them. So those are the reds that we've used. Here's our greens that we're gonna do. All right, thank you. And you know, you can always grab and watch the replay later. Okay, so we're gonna use our larger brush, which I think Rachel said we're gonna call it our small blending brush. We're going to use some of these, if we want a little bit more intense color on the tree, I'm gonna use some of my smaller ones. These are called mini blending brushes. So I'm gonna use a little bit of these, and I've got 3 green colors. So we'll use all those different brushes for different reasons. Okay, let's start with our lightest. I'm gonna make sure that I don't have any residue on this one. So yes, my brush is covered, so I have to make sure that it doesn't have anything extra. It doesn't. And let's see. Okay, she's got the inks. Oh, I hope I gave those. Tell me, what is your favorite holiday card, Christmas card? What's your favorite sentiment? Tell me if there's some fun, unique ones out there that I need to start checking out. While you do that, I have to mute myself to blow my nose. Sorry. Okay, unmuting. So let's start with grass field. Sorry, I have a cold from traveling. Do y'all get sick when you travel? I do. Oh. So the way that I want this tree to look, I want it to look like it's glowing. So I'm gonna take my light color and move out, or you can take your light color and move in, but I think it's easier to make sure I get all of my coverage to take it from the inside out. So we're gonna add color. Thank you for giving instructions. It's so good to have Rachel with us. She's so sweet and helping us out. So I'm gonna bring some color here, but this color is gonna go all over, which is why I use this larger brush, because we're gonna end up spreading it all around. So I like to make sure I get all the little edges of white, and now I'm gonna come in from the outside and add some color. Okay. And we're creating this green that's gonna look awesome with this. So we're working on our green parts, and then I'm gonna show you how I do the tree as well. But I like to kind of use one ink and do it on both things. We've got a big enough sticky mat. This mat is 9 by 12, so I'm able to do multiple things at once and not have to try to find the brush again. So I'm being a little bit messy with this this lighter color green, because I know we're gonna bring darker colors on it. So I'm adding this grass field. This is the color that we're using. All around this one. And then this is gonna be the top 1/3 of the cute little tree. So let me show you, because we're gonna ombre our tree as well. I do like Silent Night. It's a good one. Merry Christmas. You're on the nice list. That's nice. If you use a Santa image, that's a good one. You're on the nice list. I hope I'm on the nice list. Okay, so that's about all I'm gonna do for that light green. Now I'm gonna change my brush, because I want it to be a little bit more intense on my tree. So you see how I've got 3 different ones? I'm gonna use my lightest one. And we're gonna do about 1/3, okay? So we're gonna come in and do about 1/3 of this tree. And look at how it makes all of that show up. Oh my goodness, it just looks so beautiful. It's like giving it a little background before you stamp it. Oh, love it. Okay, so probably about to right through here. And I'm just gonna kind of fade it out. Now we're gonna come in with our darker color. So our next darkest color is Shadow Creek. We're gonna do that one on both of them. I'm gonna come in about this far on the tree with Shadow Creek. I'm gonna use this small blending brush to get that started as well. And since I've already used it for light color and I'm not going back to light color, I can go in and take a darker color on it. So you can always do that. Somebody here from Hawaii. Oh my goodness. So do y'all tell me, how many background stamps do you think you have in your collection? Do you have a lot of background stamps? And you see how that's given that nice shadow look? We're gonna have, it's gonna be like our tree is glowing. Thank you, Kat. Kat said she likes how it's turning out. Move this over just a little bit. So you see why having different size brushes can be helpful as well. And we're going to ink blend this. We will do some white splatter on it as well. I'm going to show you a fun way to do that, but we're going to do it on multiple things. So I'm going to wait till we get closer to the end of our cards to do our white splatter. So if your blending's not perfect, anytime your blending's not perfect, put some splatter on there. Always looks good. Okay, so here's kind of how we are here. I feel like we're pretty even. We got our glow and we got this darker color. Now we need to add Shadow Creek, which is going to be this blending brush because it's a medium, to here. So I'm going to add some of this to our tree. You'll see the difference. I think that's just magical. Oh, let me try to go this. I can't decide which way is covering it up more for you. Trying to be able for y'all to see it, but at the same time, I also have to ink blend it. So I'm going to come from each side with a little heavier ink. And then right where I've got my line, I'm going to blend through that just a little bit to make it kind of a smoother transition. Okay, let's get just a little bit more. I'm going to make it a little darker. I made that line again, so I'm going to blend that line. Okay, can you tell that there's a difference in that color right there? Light to dark, and we can add more dark if we want to, but it's nice to have that kind of subtle change because the bottom's going to be dark. You like the term glow? Oh, good to know. Lines. Okay. So Kat says she has some background stamps that are like spider webs and lines. I also like with these background stamps, you could kind of mass produce some cards with those real easily. Okay, now we're going mountain pine. Now mountain pine, I'm barely using along this edge. So just a little bit, probably about 1/10 of the way. And that just emphasizes that glow effect. So just a little bit over the edge, not much. Actually starting off the page and just adding a little. Thank you. So tell me, do we have anybody who's new to heat embossing? Got any newbies for heat embossing? Oops. That part I need to make just a little boo-boo, so I'm just using another ink blending tool to kind of blend it out. I didn't start far enough off the page there. So what we're doing for our live giveaway, and I'm going to send you this press plate. It's Better Press, so it could do Better Press or it could do foiling. And it has the sentiment dies as well. So this is going to be our live giveaway. So we've got so many good live giveaways. We already had the $25 that went to Rita. And then we've got this from me. And I'm going to have to mail this to you. So you're going to have to be able to get in contact with me via email. So make sure you're on that email list. And I'm going to do that giveaway in about, let's say 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so we got a question. Thank you. And thank you for doing it in a format that I can see. Whenever you have a question in the live stream, it's so helpful if you do a bold, all caps word question and then write your question. So she said, do you feel like your bristles grab on the sticky mat? For that, I don't, but I mean, it's not the same as going from a plain piece, but I feel like it's definitely not hurting my bristles in any way. And maybe it's just that I'm used to it, but I don't feel like they tend to grab. It may be a little more resistance than if I was blending this on a piece of paper or some kind of slick mat, but it doesn't usually affect me. And it may be too that I've already got like a layer of ink that I'm bringing in and running along. So I've got some ink there that I'm bringing down. Maybe that helps it. Are you having troubles? You feel like yours are gripping on the sticky mat? I think that was, who was that? That asked that question? Whoever asked that question, just let me know. Are yours gripping? Because mine are not. I would say it's a little bit more effort to bring them in off of that sticky part, but my bristles are great. I don't have any problems with the bristles. And we're going along. Do you see how it's glowing? Oh my goodness. Looks so good. Sometimes it's just the simplest things that can transform your card into a masterpiece. A masterpiece of art. I know we often don't say that about our cards, but just think, how many people in the world can actually make their own cards? I think you're part of a master class of creatives. Okay, so here's how I've got this one. Now we need to come in with that dark down here. And this one's gonna be darker, so make sure you use your darkest brush. I'm gonna use this one. I know I have a lot of brushes. If you only have one, just wipe the other ones off, or always move from light to dark and then wipe them off. Okay, so Monkey said her mats were gripping to it. I think it's a little bit more, hopefully it's not pulling the bristles out. Like if you had maybe some bristles that were easy to pull out, these Altenew brushes, that's not the case. So I don't know if it's the actual brush that's sticking to the grippy mat or what's happening there. I think I saw another question. Okay, so maybe it's just as you use it. Maybe at first you'll feel like they're sticking. Okay, that's what Rachel says. I saw another question, and I think it was... Oh, okay. I see two. Let me see what that other one was. Okay, what size are the brushes that you're using? So I am using, these little ones are called the mini blending brush from Altenew. This one I think is called the small blending brush from Altenew. So this is like maybe ½ inch. That's probably about an inch. Hopefully that helps. Okay, and then I saw, how do you keep your sticky mat so sticky? Okay, well, definitely there are some cleaning things you can do for your mat to make it stickier. Sometimes it's simply just adding some water and wiping it off. But with mine, I have found that if it gets really not sticky, a lot of times it's stuff that's getting stuck to the mat. So if I put it in some water and Dawn and then use a little scrubby to scrub that extra off, it returns its stickiness. So even if it doesn't look dirty, it still may be kind of a mess, you know? Can you see the differences in this tree? Subtle, but adorable. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll make sure we got this little spot kind of blended in. Look at how good those look. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's look at what we're gonna do with these. So this one is gonna be, we're gonna make a window out of it. But we're not gonna do that till after we've done some splatter stuff, which we're gonna do. We're kind of doing two cards at the same time. Look at what this is gonna look like. Oh man, is that awesome or what? Okay, so let me get this one off. I get excited when I see what they look like, you know? Okay, let me get a little bit of water, wipe this off. So you can use water to just generally wipe it off, and it's probably good to use something that does not have grip, like I'm using a paper towel. A lot of people say they use something that doesn't have any grip. I just wash my mats pretty regularly and don't really worry about it because this is what's convenient for me to use. So I tend to use water and a paper towel. And if I feel any fibers, I can wipe them off, but generally I just clean it a reasonable amount. Okay, there we go. So let's see what she said. Yeah, some of the mat, like this mat, once you get like a red color on it, it's not washing off. What you need to think about with your sticky mat is just washing off things that are going to cause trouble with the sticky, okay? So like little pieces of lint or glitter or always embossing powder. Oh my goodness, I have to be so careful with those mats not to have them around when I'm doing my embossing powder or it causes trouble. So next we're going to use this glorious pink. We are going to have so much fun with this because we're going to use an embossing folder with it. This is called Snowy Footpath, and we're going to make the background for this card. You could leave it plain if you wanted to, but I'm going to make the background. So we're using Frosty Pink. Yes, so Alice says, question, is your piece heat embossed or dry embossed? It is heat embossed. The other thing I will recommend when you're heat embossing, which I need to look for, let me see if I've got one. Anything, even like a paper towel, but if you have an anti-static thing, whenever you've done this, use a paper towel to wipe off the extra ink. Watch this glow. Watch the difference in me wiping it off and not wiping it off. You see how much brighter the white is? It's because there's ink stuck to the other part. Also, see how much ink is stuck to the part that should resist? It's just kind of a layer on top. And if you want it to be bright, you want to wipe that off. See how much came off? It's also helpful when you're using lighter colors on things that you don't accidentally, like if you stick your finger over that embossing and it has ink, you're going to get ink on your finger. So sorry, I didn't do that immediately, but wipe it off. You're going to get stuff off there. Okay, we're going to set that aside, let it dry, and we're going to start looking at the Snowy Footpath. Have y'all seen this embossing folder? I believe it's sold out right now, so hang tight, it'll come back. It's glorious. Let's just say that, it's glorious. I'll leave my water out. Hang on. Sorry, I can't reach my actual water. Yes, it is beautiful. I will say, I think you need a little extra pressure with this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run it through once, and we're going to add a little bit of ink blending to it. And then I'm going to run it through a second time and just really put some extra pressure on it to make it just elevate so much more. So just stay tuned. We'll do a couple things that I don't normally do with embossing folders, but this one, I thought it just looks so good. Yeah, that's fine. There is always a replay available if you want to come back and see what we're doing. So let me get this Snowy Footpath out. And you see I've got my water ready because I'm going to spray the back of this a little. And you may think, well, why didn't you ink blend it and then emboss it? When you ink blend, then emboss, you don't always get the extra details that catch on the embossed raised area. So what I'm going to do, you'll see there's a difference that you can catch a little bit more ink on these beautiful trees if you do your ink blending afterwards. I don't know why it keeps doing that, so sorry. Okay, I'm just seeing if it's, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so somebody said she's on the notify list. So I'm just going to kind of look, get my trees lined up. Okay, make sure I got it lined up. And I'm going to go ahead and spray the back with just a little bit of water, okay? Just a little bit. I know I got to hold it far away so that I just get a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Make sure you don't get too much on there. And that just helps your paper bend a little bit better. So we're going to take this and then we're going to line it up in here so that it's nice and even. I think I'm going to go right about here. That looks about center to me. What do y'all think? Good? Okay. Now let's send it through the embossing folder. Yeah, you can always get on the notify me list. If you go to the notify me list, do it with my affiliate link. That really helps. Make sure if you haven't done it yet that you hit the thumbs up. We are going to emboss this, and I'm going to show you the original sandwich. So I'm going to actually do it on my desk. Sorry. Here we go. We're going to do this on my desk so that you can see the sandwich. I know that that's going to be hard to fit all of it in the frame, but that's what I'm going to do. Sorry, I'm making lots of noise here. Okay, so I'm going to use the normal sandwich, which is this plate, the A platform base, the folder, and then this D adapter plate. This is the Spellbinders Platinum 6, and this is an embossing thing for this specific one. So we're going to use that. I'm going to show you what it looks like. We'll add a little bit of ink blending, and then we're going to do a little bit more pressure. So whenever you're embossing something like cardstock, especially colored cardstock, it never hurts to add a little bit of water to the back of that paper so that you can make sure that the fibers bend really well. Oh, look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Here we go. Can you see all those details? Ooh, we're gonna add some fun to that. And then you've got the back side of this embossing folder if you wanted those things to stick out, or if you wanted to like do some watercolor in these, but I feel like this embossing folder looks better this way with everything pushed up. Okay, so let's add a little bit of ink blending to it. We're gonna create a magical snowy scene is what I'm gonna call it, magical. So we're gonna add a little bit of that highlight around. So I'm grabbing my sticky mat again. I'm gonna flatten this out. And we're gonna add with my big brush, I'm gonna start adding a little bit of coral berry. So this color cardstock is already frosty pink, so there's no real reason to add frosty pink to it. You may as well just add coral berry. So I'm gonna use that brush. I'm gonna make sure it's not too dark, which I can do by rubbing off any of that excess ink here, just rubbing it on a paper towel. I do this all the time. Just use different parts of your paper towel in case you got, because you know, we did use this for a darker color. So I'm getting some of that off of my brush so that I can use it again. Look, it started that way and then we got most of it off, okay? That's good. But it's better than having to wash your brushes in between. So here we go. We're gonna do a little coral berry, make sure it's good and stuck. I gotta move my coral berry a little bit out of the way because I'm gonna come in around this. So when you're ink blending after you've already embossed, you've got this little bit of elevation that can really help your items kind of stand out. So it just gives more shadow along there. I love how it looks. And I will say, whoever's asking about my brushes, oh, so Charlie's got a question, but somebody was asking if their brushes stick. You know, I just wiped this one off and made it stickier, and now my bristles are sticking a little bit. I'm gonna power through it though. It'll get there. So yes, now they're sticking a little bit. So somebody said, should I not be washing my brushes with water? So it can be a little bit harder on your brushes, especially if you try to do some type of soap or anything like that, but it can, you know, they're glued or adhered down here. And so it can be a little bit harder on them. I can't say that I don't always do it. Sometimes I will wash them just a little bit, or I'll use an alcohol pad and just wipe off the bristles, especially if the bristles are getting sticky and sticking together. Like they've picked up something off my mat or something like that. Then I will do that. But I tend to just leave them the color that they are and use that, use the paper towel or something to wipe it off. So I wanted this to really show the details of the tree. So I'm taking this darker off here, but I'm coming in and just trying to show some details. And I think I just got a little smudge there. Oops. The other thing about when you're ink blending on colored cardstock, it's not as slick as other cardstock, so really try to start off the paper. You see I made a little smudge right there. It's easier to get smudges on it. but it's so worth it not having to try to color this whole panel. Yeah, if you have something to set your brushes in, that probably helps. I'm not sure if there's a definite, if anybody's actually like done a study on it. You know, I need to do that since I'm a science person. Like, do a study, what happens? But you know, just general thought is that might be the case. So now I've got a little bit of ink on this brush, and I'm going to take it all around to bring out those details. So just using what's left over on my brush and kind of going around and making that little bit of center there. I feel like I need just a little bit more up top. Give it just a little bit more up here. So that it's kind of dark on the outside, light on the inside. But it picks up all of these details really well. So can you see the difference? Like just from plain versus adding a little bit of ink blending, you just pick up the elevation of these things. I feel like it makes it so nice. So that's all I'm going to do on that one. Look at how this is going to look. Oh my goodness. But we're still going to make this even more magical, and I'm going to show you how. We will first run it through its embossing folder to get it even more done. Let me wipe this place off real quick. Because I know this has probably got a little bit of stuff on there. Okay, yeah, I got the green off. Still had green on it, even though I was using red. Okay. Okay, the best cardstock for a smooth blend, Kat. I bet you'll get several answers, but mine is always going to be Bristol Smooth for right now. If that changes, I'll let you know. But that's the one that I'm using when I'm doing ink blending is Bristol Smooth. Everybody else, please chime in and tell her if you've got one that you think makes a smooth blend that we need to do. Tell me too, you know, we've got that exclusive coupon for the scoreboard today. Tell me, what is the one like crafty tool that you can't live without? Okay, I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to add a smidge of water to the back again. Just a little smidge. I just sprayed it. I know it's hard for you to see. And I'm going to line it up just where it was. Make sure we got it lined up. And now I'm going to send it through with one extra thin piece of paper just to really, really punch out those details. So I'm going to do this, and it's going to be hard to take it through. And I'm going to grab something like an excess piece of paper that I have. If I've got one big enough, hang on. I got this one. Just a little thin piece of paper just to add a little bit more pressure. And then we're going to send that through the embossing folder, through this same die cutting machine, the Spellbinders Platinum 6. Okay, so somebody says a brayer. You know, I need to use a brayer more. I'm going to say mine's the Sticky Mat for sure. I also have, oh guys, I got some new paper trimmers. Oh my goodness. Like one of them cuts like 250 sheets of paper at a time. So my kid's summer job this time was cutting me lots of card bases. So I have like enough card bases for a whole year because I could cut so many pieces of paper at once. Okay, let's see how that did. Put my little extra piece back here. All right, let's look at it. Oof. Do you see how it got just like a little bit more pressure? I don't know if you can see how detailed that is, but that's just adding that extra piece of paper on it, and we've got the ink blending. So gorgeous. Now, of course, we need some snow, right? So let's add some snow. I'm going to do this with my favorite white, and it's going to make a mess, but let me show you what I like to use. I like to use Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. We're going to add snow to both of these. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. It dries pretty quick, so I'm going to let it dry while we start getting everything else ready. Or do I want to do this after I make a... Yeah, let's do it now. Let's do it now. I'm going to use my sticky mat because we're going to make a mess. Let me get that dried off a little bit. Yeah, I need to show y'all that paper cutter. I wanted to make sure I had tested it before I said anything, and it is massive. Takes up a ton of space, but for me doing this as a job, I really needed something that could cut a lot of pieces at once, and so I'll have to get you that information. It's in my other room. I can't really show it to you. It would actually be bigger than what the camera angle is. So for most of my cutting, I use a rototrim, okay, but it doesn't cut that many pieces of paper together. I was at the Nashville Craft Retreat and I saw Aaron using this massive paper cutter that was cutting whole reams of paper really well. And I was like, I have to have it. It's about $200 on Amazon. So I will put... How about in the pinned comment, I'll also add the link to that paper trimmer. Okay, we're going to be using, these are another Amazon find. These are transparent sticky notes. When I just need to put some paint down and don't want to have to clean my mat, a lot of times I'll just take one of these transparent sticky notes, and that's what I'll use to put the ink on. And it just helps clean up a little bit. So we're going to use a little bit of white, and mine is kind of drying out, so you'll see. But I'm going to get a little bit of white. I'm going to put it on that piece, and we're going to add some water to it. I'll wipe off the end because I know I'm going to get it everywhere. Okay. And then we need a little bit of water. So I've got a little glass of water over here, and I'm going to get my brush wet, and we're going to kind of make it like into a nice paste. I know those transparent sticky notes, they're not very expensive either. These aren't branded, so who knows where they come from, but they do work well for this. I actually learned this from the person who does my nails. She uses them all the time to mix her colors. Yeah, so, oh, that's a good idea. Somebody says they use those sticky notes for window panes. That's a good idea. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to carefully splatter some snow over both panels. Ooh. Sometimes I get impatient. You can also do it like this. It gives you different size dots. Ooh. I want some up here. If ever you're like, I need a dot in this one spot, you can always just touch your brush to it and give yourself a dot. Like I felt like I just need like a couple dots up here and they're not getting up there. And maybe a couple down here. Okay, so here. And that's going to give us just that effect of like a snowy, just a little bit more up here. Just of a snowy scene. But then we're going to use our sequins to enhance that because it looks like such a magical scene, and those little kind of transparent pink sequins make it so gorgeous. Okay, there we go. We're going to go with that. I'm going to do a little cleanup. Yeah, transparent sticky notes. So now what I can do is take my little transparent sticky note, fold it up, throw it right in the trash. So I don't have to worry about cleaning up that big spot of paint. The rest I'm going to have to clean up because it's on my sticky note. Let's let this, I'm going to set these aside just a second so they can do a little drying. It doesn't take long. But let's set those aside and clean up the mat. While I do that, tell me, How many people out there have used double-sided foam strips? Not like your regular tape, like the little itty-bitty strips before. Tell me who's tried those, because I'm going to show you some neat things with that. And I think it's about time for us to do our giveaway too. So tell me if you've used adhesive foam strips. They're like 1/8 of an inch. They're real small. Sometimes they're even smaller possibly than that. I'm going to set this aside to dry for a second. And I'm going to show you, we're going to start and clean off my hands. Okay, so beachcombers use them. Yeah, okay, good. Barb, you've tried them out too. Well, Altenew came out with those, so they're real fun, and I am excited that they have them now, because it was one of those things. They have some great adhesive foam tape, but they don't have foam strips, and so this is really going to help us. These are also from Altenew. These are the Twinkling Pink. I don't recommend putting them all, these are 6 different sizes. I don't recommend putting them all in a jar like this. It's nice, Altenew has these containers that will split them out for you, but those containers did not exist when I first got these sequins, so I put them all in a jar, and now it's like impossible to change the size. But for a shaker card, it works fine. We'll just dump it out in a little container and pick out the sizes that we want. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and work on the sentiment for one of these so that we can let those dry for just a minute before we build our shaker card. So Altenew has these new holiday essential sentiments that are really fun for this type of stuff. I'm going to use Happy Holidays, and we're going to ombre it a little bit just to make it really exciting, okay? So let's go ahead and do our giveaway. Let me think about it. Let me think about what the question is going to be for the giveaway. Okay, I got it. Here's the question for the giveaway. Are you team sequin or team pearls when you're adding little extras to your cards? Team sequins or team pearls? Tell me that, and we will have Rachel pick us a giveaway winner. This will be for the Altenew Celebration Sentiments. It's a set that does both, this set too, by the way. It's a set that does both foil, press plate, and it has a die. This is going to be the giveaway, so answer that question, and Rachel will pick it out. Team sequins or team pearls? Team sequins or team pearls? You got this. Team sequins or team pearls? I have this little extra piece of paper that's going to fit this perfectly. Yep, perfect. Okay, we're going to do ruby red and coral berry, and we're going to ombre this a little bit. So one thing that I like to do is take a piece of, okay, so you saw this, is take this and kind of decide where I need to be on here. So holidays goes down to about this level in here. So I know I need to ink blend in between these two areas. You see how I made my marks right there with my pencil? We're gonna do a little bit. Oh, team both. I see team both. Team both. I understand that too. Okay, so let's do a little ink blending to get our sentiment ready. And we're use a scrap piece of vellum and just cut out our, see how it's got not only the words, but it also has the shadow. So we're going to do vellum because I'm going to put this over the shaker element, and it's going to be a little bit see-through. Susan said she should be team pearl, as that is her birthstone, but I think she's a team sequin. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. Just a scrap piece of vellum. I wish I could tell you what kind of vellum it was. I have no idea. It's just a little scrap I keep on my desk. So I'm going to send this through the die cutting machine so we have it. And then we are going to do a little bit of ink blending for that Happy Holidays. So I'm going to use these two colors. So it's going to be pretty dark, but we can make it pretty fast because we can do some ink swiping to create this effect. So here is our shadow piece that we've got. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now we need this. I'm going to use this mat again because I'm about to use reds, which means it's going to be a little bit messy. Okay, so I made my pencil marks here and here. So we know that we need to go about halfway and halfway. And I'm going to do this mostly with ink swiping. I'll use my brush to even it up. Oh, Dawn. Okay, Dawn. Okay, Dawn, make sure that you are on my email newsletter list. Reply to one of those newsletters and tell me that you're the winner from today so that I can get your address and get this sent out to you. Okay, we're going to start with Coral Berry. And we're going to do a little bit of swiping, about half of it. Now you can swipe and blend if you don't want it to be too much, but I want this to be a pretty solid sentiment. So I'm going to do kind of some swiping, do a little bit of blending, just make sure I got it all covered. But we're going to cut Happy Holidays out of it. So you only need so much. So I'm going to do about one swipe of that, like one width of it. This one will be a little bit more, so definitely want to do a little blending on this one. And it may look like a mess now, but it's shocking how awesome this looks. And if you want to bring in some and make that line just a little bit less obvious, you can bring in a little bit right through here. And then you just want to make sure it covers the whole thing. So I'm going to make sure I think I need to put just a little bit more color right here. Okay. So this is why it's always good to have your ink refills. Yeah. Awesome, Dawn. So our replay giveaway, if you're on the replay, we'll ask that question at the end of the live or end of the stream. And we will have you answer that for the replay giveaway. So if you're in, we'll do that at the end. Okay. I'm going to make a little bit more Coral Berry right through here. And then we'll mix them together. So just be free with it. It looks like a mess. It's going to look really cool when we cut it out though. Okay, because we're just going to cut this out. Yeah, I think, Dawn, are you new? I haven't seen you on live streams either. I hope you're new to our live streams. That's awesome. Let me get a little sip of something. Okay, let's cut this out. See how we did. I'd also advise cutting this out maybe of a couple of whites just to give it a little bit more oomph behind it. But we're going to cut it out today just of this. Okay, so we're going to cut right about there. Let's see how this looks. So tell me, have you tried any new techniques lately? And tell me what they are if you have. I'd love to hear what y'all have been working on in your craft spaces. Okay, so here it is. Can you see how the happy is pink and the holidays is red? See, I told you it would turn out awesome. It looks like a mess right here, but it looks really cool on this. Are y'all proud? I'm going to carefully get it off here. Now this is a skinny little font, so just be cautious with it. I'm going to carefully get it off here. And it has little bitty connections, so you just need to be gentle with it. So I'm going to punch out the little spots. And even though we're putting this on vellum, I'm still, because it's so skinny, you could do like a double-sided adhesive, but I'm going to use a little bit of glue and put it on this. Look at how cute that's going to look. Oh my goodness, that's going to go over our shaker card. Ooh, stitching on cards. I actually am going to do stitching on cards, I think, on Friday, live. So, live, my next things that are coming up, just so you know, are that I have a live on Tuesday of this week. I have a live on Friday. That live on Friday is multiple guests, and it's a Christmas in July. So if you're needing some inspiration on those holiday cards, then make sure you join me on Friday as well. Lots of lives coming up. I hope I get to see all of y'all there. I'm going to do just teeny little amounts of glue here, and then I'm going to attach it to the vellum and set it aside, and we'll get the rest of our cards ready. We need to build our shaker window. We need to add lots of sequins. I'm going to show you how I did that. And like I said, you could use a double-sided adhesive for this. That would be fine to cut it out that way. Here we go. Okay, so got just a little bit of glue so that I can move it around if I need it. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Melanie. I hope you get to be there. So I've been on vacation for we went on a big vacation this year, biggest actually we've ever taken. So I had lots of stuff planned and we had content, so you may not have noticed that I was on vacation, but I think that's where my little bit of cold is coming in, is that I've flown across the world and gotten lots of germs. So sorry about that if you hear me blowing my nose and stuff. Okay, look at how cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this could work well. See how it fits on this pretty well? So you could put it on your green one. I'm going to use it on the pink because I think it looks so good. Oh no. Yeah, Susan, I agree on those. Like if they're delicate dies, I have more trouble with the double-sided adhesive, like putting it on there and then die cutting, than I do with glue, because they can get stuck to your fingers. And so it's a little bit hard to get those delicate dies to do what you want them to. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Make sure that these are dry. Yep. So that white is already dry on there. So we can start building this. So look at how cute this is going to look. Oh my goodness, happy holidays. Okay, and then we've got our beautiful background. Oh, look at that. Okay, so let's build our shaker window. If you've never built a shaker, I'm going to take you through that briefly. It's pretty easy. We're going to be definitely using these foam adhesive strips. Super helpful. And let me grab my acetate. Acetate's always the hardest supply to find because it's clear. So let me cut a piece of acetate. So I'm going to cut this acetate about, sometimes you still have to do it just to make sure it covers up that tree. So it's going to cover the whole tree. Can you see that? So it's going to cover the tree. I'll still need to trim it off at the bottom, but I'm going to start with adding my double-sided adhesive. Now for this part, any type of double-sided adhesive will work. There's going to be a couple areas that I need a thinner one, so you'll see me change it up. Let me go with this one. So I'm just using regular double-sided adhesive, and that is to adhere our window, okay? Now that's hard to see on camera, but we're going to use this regular double-sided adhesive from Altenew. This is just 1/4 of an inch double-sided adhesive. We're going to put it down the sides. There'll be a couple places I need something skinnier. So, and this is just to make sure your window stays. Let's see if I can fit it right here. Ooh, I can. Okay, I'll put that there. You want to get it kind of close to your tree too, because there's those little details, so make sure that your tree sticks to your window really well and doesn't like flop up. So you'll see me putting it right up next to it. Okay, I may put like one little strip right through there too. So I'm going to go ahead and do some over here too, because I cut my piece pretty big, so I don't want it to be flapping. So I'll put like one piece there. One piece here. I hope I have this on the supply list, but I doubt I do. Sorry about that. I'm terrible about putting the adhesives on there. So I feel like these little areas may need a smaller one. So let me get like I have one roll that's like super teeny. This is going to be about what our foam strips are like. So we can get real close on our window when we get there. I felt like I should have gotten just slightly closer here. There we go. Okay, now let's add, so what we're gonna do is remove all that double-sided adhesive and put our window on. Put this one over to the side. So we need something to get that double-sided adhesive off, which to me is usually some kind of pointy tool. I'm gonna use this. Yeah, I know, they do have great products, don't they? I've got another video coming out at the end of the month too with, have y'all seen the new poinsettia? It's like an emboss and cut, so it's got like dies, and then you can emboss the dies into that poinsettia. I have a whole video coming out on that, and it won't be out until like the end of July, but it's a really fun one too. So if you haven't seen that set, stay tuned. That will be a pre-recorded video. I included in my newsletter a list of what's coming up, because we definitely have people who are a fan of lives and we have people who are fans of pre-recorded. So I try to put out when both of those are coming out so people know based on how much time they have, if they can watch. So I'm getting all these backings off. Sorry, I'm trying to see what I'm not exactly sure, Denise, what you're asking. If you will tell me what that is again, I can answer. Okay, let's add our piece of acetate. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. There it is. And you just want to make sure your acetate covers the whole tree because you don't want to leave any gaps. So I'm going to make sure that it covers, and it does. And then it's probably going to stick out just a little bit, so I'll trim that bottom part off. And I'm just trimming the acetate, not getting the card front. Okay, so we got our acetate. Probably need to trim right there too. Okay, so now we have this beautiful window that's going to be raised up and have so much sparkle. Okay. So this one needs to be trimmed down just a little bit as well. So I'm going to trim this little panel down so that it'll fit. We'll just use this little trimmer that I have here. Okay. All right, so tell me what your favorite, if you're an Altenew fan, tell me what your favorite thing from the new release is. What was your favorite product this time? Okay, now we got our panel a little smaller. Okay, so here we go. So we've got this. It's going to fit over our cute little pattern, and you want to line up the pattern. You see how there's a star there? So I'm going to go ahead and add the foam adhesive so that it'll raise it up, and then we'll add those beautiful pink sequins. We're going to use these sequins in the shaker card, and they look so gorgeous. They just give that little extra oomph, I guess you could say. So the difference in using foam adhesive strips and using regular foam tape to me is that they're small enough that you can do a little bit of bending. So you can create your window around uneven shapes easier. So this is a foam strip. See it? It's double-sided adhesive. And I'm going to create my window. So I'm going to create a raised area that you can't see the foam strips from the front, but with these you can use them and kind of curve. So I'm going to take it, and I can usually go along with one, and I can take the foam and make a curve in it. Do you see? You can't always do that with regular tape. It's a little bit easier with foam strips. So you'll see how I'm going and molding it around like this. Okay, and I'm molding it around. You see how that's all one little strip? And then we'll go up here, okay? And then we can connect our pieces. It just makes it faster to me to be able to make an odd shaped shaker window. So for this one, I can fold it, kind of curve it around, and have it meet that one. Do you see what I mean by that? It's really nice. Okay, and then we need some more foam strips along here just to hold our card base. So I am going to use a few more. I also like the size of these because they're a little bit thinner, so you can fit them along your card in different places. A little easier, especially, see, we only got that little small space in between right there. So that would be hard with some other foam tape. You'd have to probably cut your foam tape in half. Okay. So if you're putting things in your cart, foam strips, highly recommend. I'm so excited they came out with these. And I think they're 1/8 of an inch, and I think their height is, let's look at it real quick. They're 1/8 of an inch thick, 1/8 of an inch width, and 7 inches in length. So, and I think they have them as 1/16 thickness too, like if you like to make your cards not quite as high. I wanted this to be a really tall shaker card so we could put lots of little elements in it. So when you've got your window ready, before you do anything else, you want to make sure that you use an anti-static tool. And this one is my favorite for shaker cards. I hope I put it on the supply list. Rachel, I'm sorry if I didn't. But this is an old one from, I think the brand is EK Success. And it's just it's got a little brush on it so that I can go along the inside of that adhesive and put some powder along the inside so that the sequins don't always stick right there. And you want to do this before you remove the adhesive or the tape. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just doing that nice powder all along until I don't feel that stickiness. So what I do is I run my fingernail along, and if it gets stuck anywhere, like right there, I'm going to add a little bit more in that corner. And I just run it along, make sure I don't feel a lot of stickiness. Okay. And then you can always take, if you're worried about the powder being in your main clear spot, you can also wipe that powder off. So this is what I'm using. It's just got a smaller brush. It's called the EK Tools powder brush, I believe. Okay, so let's get our sequins ready. I'm just going to pour some into a little tray so that I have them. And then we're going to slowly, this is just easier to pour them out of than a jar. And you think, why are you pouring them on the background? But when you're doing a shaker card, you want to make sure that you get your sequins. I like to place the window over the sequins versus putting the sequins in the window and trying to line stuff up, because this has so many things to line up in it. You want to be able to see what you're doing when you place that top down. The other nice thing is to make sure it doesn't seem like it's too thick. So if you get too many in there, it will not move because it's too thick. Thanks for letting me know, Teresa. Okay, so I've got what I think needs to be down. Now I can remove my double-sided adhesive strip stuff. Because my nails are just done, I'm going to do it with this. It's just sometimes easier with your little tools. I will say that this double-sided adhesive backing sometimes takes a second because we've molded this all around, so you'll see me kind of having to get it loose. All right. Get all this loose, and then we're going to place it on here carefully. Yeah, it's anti-static powder, so it's just a powder that keeps things from sticking, and I use it a lot for heat embossing, and it works really well for these types of cards as well, because you need stuff not to stick to the sides of your window. So just a little tip or trick to help that. Tell me what style Christmas cards you tend to do. Do you mass produce them, or do you make different unique ones for each person? Tell me what you usually do with your holiday and Christmas cards. Different for everybody, or everybody get the same card? And if you hadn't done it yet, make sure you hit the thumbs up. That really helps me out. It helps people find this on replay. So it's the little thumbs up underneath the video title. If you can hit that, that would be awesome. Okay, so sometimes you mass produce. Yes, you can also use cornstarch as an anti-static powder. Works well for that. Okay, here's how we got it here. So I want to line up my star and my bottom. So I'm going to be very careful with how I do this. Okay, and you may have to see the top of my head. Different, okay. Lots of unique Christmas. Okay, so I've lined it up there. Sorry. Give it a nice press. And then look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that sparkle. And the sound. You want to hear the sound? I love that sound. Can you hear it through my microphone? I think it's so awesome. Okay, sorry. I love the sound. It just makes me happy. So I think I need to trim the white backing a little bit here. I had just a little bit sticking out. And now all we need is our sentiment. See how that kind of matches the whole thing? So with this one, I am gonna, because I'm sticking it on acetate, I'm gonna put little pieces of double-sided adhesive on the back so that it sticks, because you're going over acetate, and acetate will get cloudy if you use glue. So we're gonna do teeny little pieces, which will be a little bit of a pain, but it looks so good when you have it. And you don't have to have a whole lot of them. So I'm going to mainly do my pieces on the ends of this because it kind of goes across. So let's take that teeny tiny one that I have. And I'm going to put just a little bit here and a little bit at the bulk of my S. We'll see if we can see that through there. Only the backing. And that way that H and S are sticking. Might need a smidge right here, maybe glue. Yay, thank you, Susan. So I saw in there some people do batches or 5. Okay, so batches of 5 or so, that's good. The huge scissors that I use, okay, let me show you. I have 2 pairs of scissors that are like my absolute favorite, and they are both from Tim Holtz. So hang on a second, I'll show them to you. Okay. So my huge scissors are these. They're Tim Holtz. I think they're called, what are they called? I love them. They cut so well. Okay, I'm going to go right about here. And I'm going to use a little thing just to make sure. These are my favorite. I know they're huge, but they're just fun. I think they're like 7 inches. Let's see how long they are. 9 inches. So they're big scissors, but they just cut so well that I love them. Okay, just making sure that's even before I stick down this side. And then there's that card. Look at it. See how beautiful that is? I just love that ombre, and I know it's subtle, but this is ombre also, so we kind of matched the tone. We added those white splatters so that we could create just a beautiful wintry scene. Yes, yeah, Rachel had surgery yesterday and she's still here doing this for us today. Thank you, Rachel. You are the best. So nice. Okay, now let's look at that pink background and let's create another magical scene. We're going to use some sequins on this. So we've already got, so our nice white snowfall is there. I think the white really enhances that. And then we're going to use some sequins behind this tree just to really give it some very, very exciting. So my tree, I'm going to pop it up with some foam tape. Let's see where my foam tape is. I have lots of foam tape. It's just always locating where my open roll is. This is what happens when you've been on vacay. Here we go. Found the foam tape. Okay, we're gonna foam tape the back of this tree. And I use these big scissors even just to like cut my foam tape. I don't know, they're great scissors. I don't know if they're probably not on my supply list just because I use them almost every single live and I don't always add them to a supply list. So you're putting your foam tape on, make sure that's nice and good. You don't need a whole lot for this one. Yeah, I tend to do individual cards, but I think I probably do more individual cards for Christmas because I just am always making cards. So I'm always like, well, I want to do something different. I get tired of the same thing sometimes. So I understand if you just make one. Okay. So here's our cute tree. I love that tree. Oh my goodness. It's so cute. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. Okay, sorry. Sometimes I just get overwhelmed with how cute it is. I can't help myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. I might need to put just a little bit behind that star just to make sure our star stays level. Let me get just a teeny bit behind the star. Maybe like that much. Let's see if that fits. Yeah. I just don't want the star to droop. He's too important. I understand that. Yeah, we need to send some healing vibes to Rachel. And I'm so thankful that she's still able to be here and all that. So tell me, is anybody new for the first time today to a live stream? If you are, promise me you'll come back to another one. Because today I'm coming back off vacation and I might be a little bit like scattered. Sorry about that. All right, I'm gonna put this right in the center. Right about here. Okay, there it is. Now we're gonna add sequins all around it. So look at the difference right now, and then I want to show you what happens when we add these sequins because they are adorable. And then all we have for this one is to stamp another sentiment and put it on there. I'll show you which one I used. I'm a little off here. Okay, now here's what I'm going to do. Because I overthink sequins way too much, I am going to make myself put down glue, and I did this with the other ones. Just put glue dots and start adding sequins. Don't worry about it. Just start putting them down. Just think where you might want a sequin, put a few dots, and add some sequins. Don't overthink it. I mean, nobody cares if you use too many sequins. So I'm going to use this little thing to kind of pick them up. Nobody cares. And if you drop them on here and lose one, no big deal. And then I'm just going to add different size sequins. I tend to go like bigger towards the project, but it can do whatever you want to do. Actually, I kind of want this one up here. Put a glue dot there. Oops. That's why it has this on there to go boom, boom. Sequins can be a little bit crazy to get on there, so even if you can pick them up, sometimes you still have to put a little bit of pressure to get them to stay. So I'm just putting sequins all over, and we're going to create this beautiful winter scene. We're just kind of going all around the top. You can do little, you can do big, whatever you want to do. May lose a couple. The little ones are the hardest to do because you got them held on and then you try to put them on there and they don't want to stick. So sometimes it's better to go with a little bit bigger ones. And on this card, I kind of think the bigger ones look better. So see how those pink sequins are looking? Oh my goodness. They look so good. Yeah, that's, I understand. Yeah, that does need to be on a t-shirt. You are so right. Nobody cares if you use too many sequins. That's right. Nobody cares. It's just like, it's just extra sparkle. And half the time, you know, your recipient's not going to notice the difference anyway. Or if you put the wrong amount or whatever you want to call it, if you decide to use one that you're like, oh, I did way too many, because some people even get it down to where they'll count the number to make sure there's an odd number. I'm not worried about that so much, especially when I'm doing this many sequins. But you see why it might be an idea not to use, like if you get the new sequins from Altenew, make sure you use those little things. Thanks, Lynn. Oh yes, definitely always a chance to see the replay, and usually a giveaway in the replay as well. Because I want you to be able to see it when you can. I know sometimes life gets in the way of seeing a live. So I am happy to have you watch it at any point. So thank you for those who are saying, yeah, that they like the idea of having a replay. So on my channel, I've had people ask me this a lot lately. A lot of you find me through lives, but there are pre-recorded videos. If you ever have just like 15 or 20 minutes and you need something pre-recorded, you can go to my channel and I have lots of those there. So just don't forget that those are options. I don't only do lives. I love lives. And they're probably my favorite right now, but I don't only do lives. So basically for me, this is like it's raining sequins. It's snowing sequins. So not only is it snowing, not only is it snowing, but it's snowing sequins. How cool is that? I'm going to take it. I wish it'd snow sequins. I'm sure that would cause trouble, but it would be fun. I would enjoy it. So did any of you on your travels this summer find any cool craft stores or anything that you were like, oh, this is so fun? I found a couple in different places and bought some new pens and just little things like that. It was more like stationery type stores, but I had a lot of fun with that. Just exploring new places, and actually, you know, there's something about shopping for your supplies and getting to actually look at them and play with them and pick them up and hold them. It was really fun. Had a good time. Is there a certain Christmas card style that you usually come back to? Like, do you do shaker cards? Do you do just like a stamped card when you're making them for people? I'd love to hear that too. Okay, so here's how it's looking. Look at all this sparkle. Oh my goodness. So it's just so different than just adding the dots. Yeah. Oh, you must be on a different time zone. Oh my goodness, 6 a.m. start. When I originally scheduled this live stream, I was in a different time zone, and so it may have thrown some people off too, because it looked like it was scheduled to start at 6 a.m. Eastern. All right. Yeah, definitely watch the replay. You gotta go. Here's what it looks like now. I'm gonna do the last little bit of stamping to create the sentiment that goes on this one. And A2 is definitely my go-to size as well. I love using some stamps and dies. When I'm doing fast cards, I feel like stamping is a little bit faster than dies because you're putting together the dies, but I love both options. So if you are late coming in, this is the set that we're using. It's called Winter Wonderland. Let me show you from here. Winter Wonderland from Altenew. Today we have an exclusive coupon on the scoreboard. So if you need a scoreboard for making fun folds and all those things, then you can do that. I'm going to use Sending Winter Magic Your Way because it fits so nicely right there. So let's stamp this real quick. We'll finish up this card. Tell me if you got any questions. Yeah. I agree. Beth says when you buy supplies on vacation, they are counted as souvenirs. I know. That's exactly what I did. I was like, it's a souvenir. No big deal. We can buy some more craft supplies. That's awesome. I'm glad somebody else thinks that way because that's what I do. I'm like, well, I'd rather use my souvenir budget for craft supplies. So, but I'm sure there's some amazing ones across all over the place. I'd love to hear if you've got experience with any specific one that you just love. So I'm just going to stamp in black for this one. Just keep it simple because there's a lot of busyness on the card, and so I want this to show up. So I'm just going to stamp black on a white piece. Let's see if we got a spare here. Yeah, we'll just use this. And then I have the die cuts to cut it out. So we'll do it right here. Never hurts to keep your little pieces so that you can do this. And I'm going to stamp this in a really dark black from Altenew called Obsidian. It's a really dark black, and it usually takes one time. It's liking to go away. Yeah, see this sticky mat, we were talking about sticky mats earlier. This sticky mat I probably need to clean. I also had somebody who asked me on Instagram, so I thought I would tell y'all too. If you don't have a stamp wheel yet, no biggie, but I want to show you what modification I made to the stamp wheel that people are noticing on my videos and why that has made a difference for me. So hang on. Sorry, I saw a little piece of fuzz on there, so I need to get a little bit more. So I'm going to show you the modification that I made to mine. Thank you for throwing that in. That coupon only lasts until tomorrow at midnight. So please, 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 if you're going to use it, hurry it up. Hurry it up. Make sure you purchase today and use that coupon. If you haven't followed me on social media, please follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. That way you can see, I put out something on Facebook and Instagram almost every day. Lots of little short form videos, but that way you can also see when it's time for other things. So I've got Sending Winter Magic Your Way. I'm going to cut that out, put it in the center over here, and we'll be done. I think I just stamped that on. It's possible that is watercolor paper. Whoops. That's what happens when you have lots of little, lots of scraps over to the side. So in this same set, not only does it have the die cut for the tree, it has the die cut for these. I think it's this one. Sending Winter Magic. Let's see if that fits. Yeah, looks like it's that one. Yep. Okay, we'll cut that out and put it in the center of our tree. All right, let me see some final things. What technique have you been wondering about? Tell me something like, what do you want me to teach next? Is there something specific you've been looking for? I've got a class coming up on fun folds in October, and I have a class coming with an exclusive kit coming sometime, we hope, in September. Depend on production and such, so I hope that y'all will join me for that. Lots of fun. It'll be my first time having my own exclusive kit. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, let's see if anybody answered those last ones. All right, now I'll compare and show you both of these cards together. Oh, the modification on the stamp wheel. Hang on, let me get this off. And I will show you. Okay, there's this. Okay, let me show you that modification on the stamp wheel, and then we'll put these cards together and show them off. So, and I don't know if the person that was asking me about it is here or not, but I want to show what I did. So you see how you can see the grid behind my sticky mat? I did that specifically. So they don't come that way. Here's how I did it. Let's take this off. Do you see what I'm talking about? There's a grid right here. That grid. I love having that grid to line things up. And so here's how I modified it. I put a black mat underneath. This mat is made to fit in the stamp wheel, and some people use it for like red rubber stamping, but it's called the sticky mat, I believe. Maybe the grip mat, but it's got a little bit of grip to it too. And I lined it up in my stamp wheel because it fits perfectly in there. And then I put my sticky mat over it. See how this doesn't have any lines? So that I can line up A2 cards exactly. So here's what I did. Put this in there because that other mat is so thin, it doesn't take up any extra space, but it gives you that grid. Oh, thanks, Deb. I'm so glad. So just FYI, and here's what that mat looks like, so that if you're looking for one on there, so this is the one that goes in the smaller. It's just a little flip. It's kind of like a Cricut mat, but it's got that grid on it. So this one fits in the smaller stamp wheel. But that's how I modified it so that I could see all of that. Okay, let's put on our sentiment. And then we are done with this little card, and let's look at our 2 options that we made today. If there's one supply that you could have, that you were like, sorry, I've got to see what her question is. So she's asking, when the glue you use gets thick, do you thin it with water? I go through glue pretty fast, and so I think it's more your container if it's getting real thick. So I have this container that has a teeny tiny nozzle, and this does not seem to dry out. I also make sure I refill regularly, but if yours is drying out, anybody got an experience with that? How have you made your glue not be quite so thick? Let's see if anybody has it. Anybody have a solution to that? I would probably try to thin it out with adding more of the glue, like if it's running a little bit low and getting thick. Yeah, slim grip black mat. That's right. That works so well in the stamp wheel. So here is our beautiful sequin snowstorm. Sequin white dot snowstorm. So for this one, we heat embossed, then we did ombre ink blending. So that white embossing sticks out and you could see it through the ink blending. It's a really fun technique, and it's almost like magic because you got this white piece of paper, white heat embossing, and then you do this ink blending on it, and it looks awesome. So there's that. Then we created our shaker card. So this is the other one where we did ombre ink blending on the stamp, and then we put that as behind our shaker window. So we added some pink sequins. These sequins are called Twinkling Pink, and we used some ombre on our Happy Holidays, and then we've got both of these cards that we can send using that same stamp set. Yeah. So for people who are going into the replay to enter, let me come up with a question for you to enter the replay. Here's the replay giveaway question. So if you go onto the replay and you want to enter there, just answer this question. What do you make more of? Holiday cards or all occasion, birthday, all of those other types of cards? Do you make more holiday cards? Because I know some people do like 300 holiday cards. So do you do more holiday cards, or do you do more birthday and anniversary and all of those other things? I'd love to know how you craft and go from there. But these are so fun. Let me let you hear that shaking again. Okay, and you got the replay question if you decide you're going to go and enter on the replay giveaway. The replay giveaway is for this die set, which is just some little tiny butterflies, something that I can fit in an envelope to send you. You do need to be on my email newsletter so that you can make sure I can contact you. Thank you. I'm so glad you love those, Dawn. Yeah, it's good to get 2 cards from one set. And remember the other cards I suggested, okay? Because I think you could do some amazing stuff. So with this set, the other things that I would suggest and that I think Cheryl brought up is that you could use this die to create a shaped card. So you could create a shaped card. I don't know if you know how to do that, but it's not terribly hard. You could create a shaped card that's a Christmas tree. You could just regular stamp it. You can heat emboss it. You could do it with just Versamark, so you get just the background shadow of it. You have so many different options. And this one, you could cut out ornaments, like you cut circles out of it and create little ornaments. It would be really fun. So I think that this is a very versatile set. I really liked this one a lot, and I love all the detail in it. So it gives you lots of different options, and it doesn't have to just be Christmas. You could use it for winter, any type of winter stuff. Yeah, I make a lot of holiday cards too. I understand. I probably make more of everything else besides that just because this is my job. But thank you so much, Mary. I'm so glad everybody who joined. Thank you so much. Make sure before you leave, you hit the thumbs up underneath the title of the video. That helps more people find it on replay. Don't forget to follow me on social media. And don't forget to use the coupon. It's for this scoreboard. It's for the scoreboard, and it's only for like 24 hours. So if you need a scoreboard, it's 50% off with my coupon for about 24 hours. All right, so let me pop back in here and say bye. All right, let me get rid of this one. So I'm not too, okay, well, it's so nice to be back with you again. I had so much fun hanging out. I am so glad that you joined me today because I have been gone for a little while for vacation. It was very nice to be with all of you. It was nice to meet all the new people, and I appreciate that so much. I hope today's cards inspired you to look at those background stamps a little bit differently. Think of either heat embossing, ombre, do some different stuff with them so that you get them out and use them. And also, if you're looking for any of these products, they will be in the pinned comment and in the description. I appreciate you all for being here live. Y'all just make my day, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for spending part of your day crafting with me, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Be careful, everybody who's got the super hot weather. I hope you stay inside and get some crafting done. Have a great day. Bye.